Hey, we're back at the top again today with the final type to go back over. Back in week 18 on the road to Pokemon Sun and Moon, we looked at a very biased type. It's been a long time since that video, but I did say I go over every type to see what Generation 7 improved or made worse about each type, while also going over what I said to see if any of those suggestions made sense. With that, let's go in-depth one final time and go where no person has gone before as we look at the fighting type. The second type we looked at from over a year ago. Or 2 years, actually. I did want to finish this before the hype for Pokemon Switch began, so let's get it! At long last, we go over the few remaining new Pokemon. There are some Pokemon that haven't yet been covered, so we're still missing a few. Let's go check them out, shall we? Passimian is the only Pokemon that we have yet to cover, but I did want to give a shout out to the Rugby Primate. Crabominable was covered in the Ice-type video, but it's still sucking in battle months later. Marshadow was so good, it got banned. Beware is still out there, crushing spines. Como-O is still one of the best Pokemon to come out of Generation 7. Buzzwole is still flexing on us, and Pheromosa flexed so hard on us that it got banned as well. And that's every Pokemon that was added in this generation. I don't think I missed any new ones. Here we're going over the new fighting type attacks added in Generation 7. We'll cover the last few attacks that we haven't yet, but there is a problem. Other than the general Z move all-out pummeling, there are literally no new regular fighting type moves. I would have never thought, ever, that a type would get completely neglected in a new generation, and my favorite type to boot. And with this sound... we'll cover the updates and changes to older Pokemon one final time. Let's fight our way through this. Dodrio can now hit him up with Jump Kick. Throw can now throw up the mats with Mat Block. And with the updates in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, Incineroar can now kick twice with Double Kick. Hypno can wake up its victims with Wake Up Slap. Como-O with close combat at its disposal can be very scary. Delibird can now use Counter, because Shady needs help to counter all the Pokemon fans mad at him for not playing Pokemon. Come on, let's just let him do what he wants. Farfetch'd can now sacrifice itself using Final Gambit. Ladybug can use Counter as well. Oshawott gains access to Sacred Sword. I'm biased, but that's pretty cool. It's better than Revenge or Superpower. And after saving the best for last, that's every change to the fighting type. That should cover everything. However, we still need to get to the updates I requested. But remember, this was before the change to 6 changes from 10, so I'm going to combine a few of them. Since I don't expect you to remember something that was posted over 2 years ago, we'll go over the 7 improvements I suggested, starting with everyone's favorite broken record: a type split lean is too one-sided. The fighting type had too many physical Pokemon and moves, and not enough special options. With a few special Pokemon options that got banned to Ubers and with 0 attacks added, this failed pretty badly. The second improvement wasn't an improvement. I was just calling people out who were complaining about the fighting type being overpowered. So, we'll ignore that facet. Up next, I mentioned 2 inconsecutive improvements. I complained about the lack of speed and special defense. I would like to think those were fixed. Special defense was helped a little bit, but all the speed was banned to Ubers. There are so many good things being taken away because they are too strong. I mean, I can't blame them though. Now, there were 2 different types of moves lacking in different areas. The first were status moves. With only 4 status moves, I was hoping we could see more options. But with 0 moves added, it's hard to accomplish this. The second was the disparity in the coverage for the 2 fighting type priority moves, Mach Punch and Vacuum Wave. With no new coverage options on Pokemon, new or old, we get to kick the bucket with these improvements yet again. But where does that leave the fighting type on the standings chart we've had this entire time? Well, not very high. See, even though we only barely got 1 of the improvements right, it's still not enough from getting swept with losses. So, not really the best outcome. With this chart completed, we see that I did the best for the Ice, Ghost, Normal, Fairy, Water, Grass, and Poison types. I didn't sweep any of the types, unfortunately, which is disappointing, but it's been a fun ride regardless. And for the last time until we start a new series, foreshadowing anyone? We'll be going over the last remaining unused type combinations. This time we're looking at the fighting type to see if we can karate chop and check some of them off this list. Remember that this chart does not take into account for Megas, Legends, or Forms. I'll let you know if one of any new Pokemon break these rules. Before Generation 7 began, the fighting type had yet to be paired with the normal type. Mega Lopunny and Pirouette Meloetta do not count. The ground type, the rock type, the ghost type, the ice type, the electric type, the dragon type, and the fairy type. We were able to chop and check off 3 of these, as the normal type was crushed by the Beware line. The ice type was slowed by the Crabominable line, and the dragon type was scaled back by the Como-O line. Remember that legends don't count toward this chart, that's why Marshadow does not count here. Once we return with a new series, I'll replicate and update this chart for Generation 8. You want a sneak peek? Well, stick around for the outro next. And finally, after 14 months, that's all the changes and the updates to all the types, and the fighting type. What changes do you like? What do you dislike? What would you have changed? Did this series take too long? Let me know in the comment section below. As for what's coming up next, we won't be doing more improvements. That wouldn't make any sense. It would just be a de facto re-upload. What we will be doing once the Pokemon Switch hype train begins is going deeper into the unused type combinations. Stick around for that! If you enjoyed and want to climb to the top, go ahead and smack the like button as high as it can go and subscribe to start the climb today. With that, I want to thank you for watching. I'm going to catch you back at the top later on, because that's how we do what? Wait a minute! You were going to end the series without me? How could you? That's because I retired your character, remember? Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, this is really how you do what?